7.
8 total.
So for the next 3 hours, you see this fire kind of reach like a zenith, but it's a good 20 feet over the trees. You can watch it going over these trees. During this, though, I need you two to go upstairs.
Oh shit.
Whoa.
That's you.
No, that's...
Oh. Then.
Well, alright.
Good luck, buddy.
Hermes!
I have a feeling this is related to something from the first session.
Trees are burning.
Because honestly, I was thinking that earlier when I got to the game trail. I was like,
So as you go into the trance-like state that you've just associated with sleep over these years, you start to see images of just the forest and nature, and that brings just a sense of wholeness, and you just, it's been a long time since you've kind of just been directly in the wilderness, and it just feels good to kind of be back home. And then as you're sitting there, you see this grand kind of oak that grows up and spirals, and you see it kind of bud from the shape of this fall seed and kind of spiral up until eventually, roll a religion check for me with advantage.
19 plus 2 plus 2, so that's 23.
So as you see this form begin to take shape and start to expand out, and before it even reaches the full zenith of its growth, you see growing before your eyes a shrine of Melandrin. You know that many people kind of make these temples out in the woods that just for this deity that's kind of the wayward traveler, the one of growth and the good harvest and stuff like that. And you know that these shrines can be huge. And as you watch it, you see it grow, and you see the forest grow around it, and it expand, and almost as if time goes forward. You see the tree getting older and growing, bloom, and leaves fall away in the winter, and then grow back up in spring, and then bloom again. As you're watching, you look at the center of the tree, and you see an ember. You see a catch. And then as you, in your dream, you kind of close your eyes and open them. The entire tree is ablaze, burning, burning, burning higher and higher and higher. And then you look down to your arm, and you see a small ember in your hand. It begins to grow and burn and burn. And as this happens, you try and put it out in your dream, you try and shake it, and then you look around the forest, everything's on fire. And as you do, you wake back up in a cold sweat, heavy breathing. Something's not right. Can you get everybody else?
Hey guys! Hello?
We gotta move. We gotta move.
You have a vision?
We gotta move.
I told you!
No.
So,
But not in the
Miriam,
direction you want to go.
Miriam,
Oh,
as you're sitting there in the forest, you've kind of noticed that Selvus is normally
They're...
pretty tame and asleep, but he seems to be just kind of like twitching and shifting a little bit. And as you look over to him, you hear this, and you look at him, and even in this light from the fire that's growing and from the shine of the moon, you can see just a cold sweat. He's just drenched.
Oh shit. You alright, dude?
I think that's one of my temples on fire. We gotta go.
What?
What?
I saw a vision of one of Melandri's temples, and then it caught fire and started to hurt me as well, so we've got to go.
Okay.
Because he said that was... it's a big fire, and I don't know, but we gotta go.
Okay.
I gotta go. At least.
Alrighty.
I start shaking
Let's-
the other dragon horn.
Okay. We are up.
He
Are
saw a thing. The fire is one of his temples on fire. We gotta go.
As she's doing that, like I've already packed up and I'm like
Okay.
hopping on my horse.
Okay.
Alright, okay, let's go.
Okie
How's the
dokie.
horses?
I tear off towards the fire.
Okay.
We're going towards the. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm.
So as you guys start to just haul ass towards the fire, are you taking the horses with you, or what's your game plan?
I'm on my horse.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just roll a general dexterity check for me, just to make sure, or actually animal handling. Animal handling.
Clotheslined by a branch.
Yeah, that's 22.
Okay. So you definitely maneuver the horse through the roots and the low-hanging branches and kind of the rough terrain of this riverbed, and you make it to this bridge in 15 minutes. During this kind of mad dash, you know, these two are behind you and they're going a little bit slower, but they're not far off. You've noticed that the kind of the light from this bonfire is starting to ebb a bit. What do you do?
Yeah, keep heading towards it.
Okay.
How,
So-
like, about how far is it from where I am? From the bridge?
From the bridge, it's about 300 feet.
Okay, yeah.
So you guys kind of just push the horses towards this bridge, and you hear the as you guys go across, rushing up this hill. As you do, you start noticing some things that start to look like stumps, but you realize they're actually staked barricades facing outwards, and you kind of you take caution and you move around them, but you're still trying to go with a lot of speed to get towards this fire. And as you do, you crest over this hill, and there's this ring of light that's showing. And as you can see embers starting to fall and ash falling.
Okay.
And once you come to the crest of this hill, you look down, and you see, Sylvis, what you've just seen. You see a giant, massive elm. Decades, eons of growth, embers, limbs falling from the trees, completely burned alive. You two, as you kind of survey the area, you see more kind of barricades and small encampments. You see 5 tents of various sizes, and a cursory glance, you see 2 or 3 carts. But the main focus is just giant focal point of this giant tree with rocks scattered around the base of it that grows up and branches out this entire clearing, just ablaze with ember. It just looks like stars in the sky. It's lit up so bright.
Is there something we can do? Is there any kind of water source?
The river would be your closest water source.
Are there buckets even?
Make an investigation check for me.
How far away is the river?
What's
300 feet.
What's the diameter of the tree?
No,
It's
I
like
didn't
a
see any
good
buckets.
30 feet at the base.
Oh God.
It's a massive tree, and as you look at it, you can see that it slowly kind of forms into the shape of what almost looks humanoid, but it's almost like this woman with her arms raised up, this gown that flows into the roots. And as you look, you can see the face starts to like chip and wither, and starts to fall away with char, as the outer layers of this tree is starting to cake and flake off from the heat.
Oh.
Outside of just for my knowing, because I know we've kind of talked about what Melandri's temples are like. They're all outside and all that jazz. So there's not like it's not like a building set into
No.
the tree or anything. It's just
the
the tree
meadow.
itself, and then
Yeah.
just double checking because my imagination's a couple different things.
I think we could use the card here.
The what?
The what?
Maximilian's card.
Wasn't this stuff illusions?
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't even
Roll
know.
Oh, magic.
Use it.
Hit religion check for me.
Okay. That's gonna be bad. 11.
I mean, you don't know a lot about Lissa, but you do know kind of the predominant colors of the faith, and they're more like deep purple and deep hues, and most of the worshippers of illusion or of Lissa, you know that her house is more about illusions and tricks and things of that nature.
Okay, that's out of the question. Put this out though.
I don't know.
Is there anything else around the tree?
There's the small encampment that's kind of pushed off to the side. Doesn't seem like any of the embers are landing on the camp itself, but
Maybe a dam?
you see, looking behind the camp, by about 50 feet, you see a waterfall kind of on the end of the thing that comes out like over a rise and ridge line, and you see it kind of splashing over to the side. That seems to be the closest thing besides the river that's behind you. And this waterfall is kind of like 75 feet out of the camp. It's decent walk, but you could quickly ferry stuff if you needed to.
I'm gonna.
Start going for grabbing buckets?
Yeah, I couldn't find any buckets.
Oh.
I rolled 1 for that one. I'm gonna. So there's the tree. Are there buildings around here, or is it just the encampment?
It's just the encampments.
Well, I'm gonna start flinging them open, see if there's anybody around.
Okay, roll an investigation check for me.
Maybe try to get some help at least. Investigation 15.
15. So you start kind of madcap going through all the different tents, and you see small furs and stockpiles of weapons. You see rations. You see light armor, heavy armor, bows, crossbows. Couple of pieces of gold here and there scattered about. This mostly seems to be just like a general base of operations for whatever is going on with this group. Also, with kind of a cursory glance, you kind of go through and you find a cage with 2 wolves in it, and they're kind of like yipping and growling at the fire.